Welcome back everyone to the channel. Today we are covering some first reactions and reviews from an upcoming movie. This is a big one. It's Zootopia 2. At the time of this recording, the review embargo is up, and I mean, this is getting absolute praise, and thankfully it is. Obviously, before we get into covering all these reactions, if you could do us a favor, please consider liking the video if you enjoyed, subscribe and click that bell as well. It's completely free and helps out the channel so much. But man, currently right now it is sitting at a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes with over 60 reviews, and that is the utmost praise. And let me just tell you, this movie is already breaking records. I mean, if we actually look at some things that this movie has accomplished before even releasing worldwide, Zootopia 2 is tracking to have a 500+ million opening weekend. This includes a 200+ million projected opening in China, which is the biggest opening for a Hollywood movie in the territory of China post-COVID. That is huge. This movie is already setting records and it's not even out, and I'm excited for it as someone who really enjoyed that first one. But I will say I didn't particularly have specific expectations for this, but I'm so glad to see so many people walk out of this movie loving it, which is something we will be covering. So without further ado, we're gonna waste no time. I've got a handful of some reactions coming out of the premiere and some press screenings, so let's go ahead and get into it. This first one that we have comes from Ashley Carter saying, Zootopia 2 is excellent, a worthy sequel that doesn't lose the charm or heart of the first movie. The story is sharp, the new characters are fun, the movie zips by and is absolutely hilarious. So many pop culture references, animal puns, and gags. This exceeded my expectations. That is what I love to hear. I don't really have any expectations for this, but the amount of people that have seemed to really love this movie walking out of it makes me even more excited. And thankfully it's not a sequel that's a pure cash grab with no thought, no soul, nothing put into it with any sort of effort or a lack thereof. It doesn't feel like that at all. It feels like this is actually going to be a strong hit, not only for audiences but at the box office as well. But let's go ahead and move on. This next one coming from 3C Films, amazing YouTuber. You guys should absolutely go subscribe to him if you guys don't know, which I don't know why you wouldn't know his channel. He's huge. He's amazing. He's hilarious. But he got to see it and he says Zootopia 2 is just as good as I hoped it would be. A worthy sequel packed with a lot of heart. The world building along with new characters and lands are fun to explore. A ton of great gags that had me in stitches, but it's the development of Judy and Nick's dynamic I loved the most. That was a lot more descriptive, but he also seemed to really enjoy it, especially the emotion of it and what they were exploring in the movie, which I love to hear. Can't wait to see this. This next one that we have though comes from Zach Pope, another great YouTuber that you all should go and follow, subscribe, anything like that. He says Zootopia 2 might be better than the original. It's just as timely, if not more, thanks to its expanded world building and the incredible introduction of the reptiles of Zootopia. It's hilarious, heartfelt, and the chemistry between Judy and Nick is better than ever. I loved it. So glad to hear that. Another one back to back just praising the execution and how well Judy and Nick were in this movie as well, which is really great to hear. This is insane to me because Zootopia, the first movie, was obviously huge, but this is a sequel many years later, which wasn't making that much noise leading up to it, to be fair. Now, obviously, it's an animated movie. It's part of an established franchise at this point that was a success. So, obviously, I think this was always going to be one, but I think the level that it's at was far beyond any of us expected, which I couldn't hope for more. But let's continue. This next one coming from Nate Richards saying, it's rare for a Disney sequel to live up to the success of the first movie, but Zootopia 2 does exactly that. Clever, funny, lovable, warm, and once again has something to say. As a fan of the first, I can confidently say this one is one of the best Disney sequels in a long time. That is so great to hear. I mean, the praise just does not stop, and I love how they mentioned that this movie still has something to say. It has a place. It has a reason for existing, and, you know, that's all I want from a movie. I don't want to go into a movie and feel like it was purely made for only monetary, with no thought put into it, with no heart behind it, with nothing to say. And I'm glad that doesn't sound like it's the case here. But we're going to move on. This next one coming from Wolfie44 saying, just got done watching Zootopia 2, and I gotta say, this movie is probably the best sequel to a Disney movie we've had in a while. It does basically what it does with the first one, but practically keeping its light for what the series truly is. 10 out of 10 from my perspective. Great to hear that. This next one that we have, though, comes from a guy at the movies saying, Zootopia 2 brings the laughs and the heart, expanding the world without losing what made the first one so fun. It even dives into a deep theme of their accessible intelligence. Sharp, fast, laugh out loud, funny, and genuinely satisfying. This sequel works way better than expected, and that's what it sounded like. It sounded like this is a surprise, a huge hit that is going to shock a lot of people with just how good not only the movie is, but how well it lives up to the previous movie, which was already an extremely successful film. But this next one that we have comes from Junior Felix saying, Zootopia 2 is fantastic. It's full of heart, action, non-stop laughs, and gorgeous animation. I found myself laughing at all the clever jokes and the amazing Easter eggs, and listen carefully to all the amazing guest voices. Definitely watching again. Everyone's really praising the comedy in here, which was a great thing in the first movie, but that seems to be a huge takeaway, is just how funny this movie is, which is great to hear. Comedy is, arguably some of the most difficult, if not the most difficult thing to write, and the amount of people walking out loud saying it was leaving them in stitches and having them howling and having them cackling and constantly laughing is so great to hear. We're going to cover a couple more and then wrap this up, though. This next one coming from Scott Mendelson saying, while not quite as prickly and disciplined as the first, Zootopia 2 is another visually spectacular, consistently clever, and very funny buddy cop mystery thriller with few for kids concessions. Yes, it's relevant, nitpicks aside, and it's Disney's best tune since Encanto. That is huge praise, and we love to hear. We're going to cover another one, though. This next one coming from Eric Goldman saying, Zootopia 2 is terrific. All you want from a sequel in terms of more of what you loved while expanding the world. Tons of memorable jokes. The movie references. Continues the great message of the first one in terms of its metaphors. And Nick and Judy are such a great duo. That's another one really, complimenting the expansion of this world, which I cannot wait to experience and see. But they seem to really love it as well, which is so great. This next one that we have comes from Wendy Lee saying, Zootopia 2 isn't just a sequel. It's a genuinely great story. Smart, funny, heartfelt, and totally worth seeing in theaters. So good to reunite with these characters again. I didn't realize how much I missed them. Keep your eyes peeled for Easter eggs. Love to hear that. And hopefully a lot of people go and see this movie. It seems like that's definitely going to be the case. But I do think what she said about us not knowing how much we missed them is extremely true. I feel like that might be why the trailers or the marketing for Zootopia 2 isn't blowing up, is because we all don't really realize how much we care about them until we go and see them again and realize how much we actually do. We're going to cover about two more and then wrap this up, though. This next one coming from Stucker Movie Review saying, Zootopia 2 is an energetic and extremely entertaining sequel that plays to the strengths of the franchise while delving into new themes of immigration and forced displacement. Somehow manages to be really funny while pointing out the terrors of our current world. I loved it. So great to hear. And this last one coming from Sean saying, I've been waiting way too long for a Zootopia sequel, and Zootopia 2 hit me right in the heart just like the original did. I fell in love with that first movie instantly, and this new chapter pulls you right back into the magic, the charm, and the heart that made Judy and Nick's world so special. It has that same spark, that same energy, and the same emotion that grabbed me all those years ago. Absolutely worth every second of the wait. That's going to be all the reactions that we are covering for you all today, and I mean, that is amazing to hear. Everyone seems to really enjoy it and really love it and think that it definitely has a place, has something to say, and even lives up to the first movie, which is huge expectations to set. But I mean, that's so great to hear. It seems like this is going to be kind of one of the biggest hits and shocks of this year. I don't think anyone really had Zootopia 2 as like one of the biggest movies of the, maybe they did. I mean, I didn't, but it seems like that's definitely going to be the case. But I'm curious what you all think about these reactions and Zootopia as a franchise. Did you like the first one? How excited are you for Zootopia 2? Literally leave anything related to this down below. Any of your thoughts, we love discussing with you guys over here. And if you made it this far and you haven't, please do us a favor, hit that like button, subscribe, and click that bell. It helps us out a ton over here, and it's completely free. But other than that, it's been your boy Kezzy, and hopefully I will see you all in the next one.